Now, when Lamborghini first announced that they were going to introduce another SUV to the market, we couldn't help but sigh out of disappointment that another high-performance manufacturer had succumbed to the boring SUV craze. But then, they released this thing. Now, before we get started, I want to give a huge thank you to Jim at the Unique Car Guy for giving me the opportunity to review this stunning vehicle for you all today. This car is for sale if you are in the market for a slightly used Lamborghini, so reach out to him if you are interested. However, if this car happens to be just a little bit out of your price range, Jim has a huge assortment of different vehicles and he can be sure to find the vehicle that you are looking for. You're welcome to check out his current inventory at theuniquecarguy.com and tell Jim that I sent you. I also want to give a huge shout out to Salty Detailing for doing a phenomenal job making this car look as sparkly as the showroom floor. If you guys are in the Valley and interested in getting a detail job on your vehicle, then definitely reach out to Lauren at Salty Detailing. I will put a link in the description below. Now, what exactly is this thing? Well, it's a 2019 Lamborghini Urus, or Urus, or however you want to pronounce it. That's what this is. And I feel like a kid in a toy store just standing next to this thing. Now, for those of you that are interested, this actually isn't Lamborghini's first venture into the SUV world. No, in the late 80s, they introduced the LM002, which was this military-style vehicle that was primarily targeting customers in the oil exploration and production industry. Think G-Wagon, but from Lamborghini. But this thing serves a completely different purpose. So what is the Lamborghini Urus? Well, the Urus is based on the same platform as the Audi Q8, Porsche Cayenne, and other VW Group models. However, this is not just some simple lipstick on a pig scenario. Lamborghini definitely had all the control when they were designing this vehicle. And with the hopes of doubling its 3,800 vehicle per year production due to this SUV, we may be thanking Lamborghini years from now for saving the brand. Now, if you are familiar with my reviews, you'll know that I focus on 5 main attributes. That's practicality, safety and security, interior and exterior features and quality. We go over the performance and handling, the fun stuff, and then I wrap it up with some hidden features specific to this car. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start it off with practicality. Really, the only reason to buy an SUV Lamborghini is for the practicality. So as I'm sure you can tell, that is definitely one of this vehicle's strengths. So you want to have the Lamborghini name and performance, but you don't want to scrape the splitter on every single curb. Well, then the Urus should definitely be on your shopping list. Yes, the MPG is only 12 in the city and 17 on the highway for a combined 14, but my bet is that if you are shopping for this vehicle, you don't care in the least bit. Let's be honest, you probably already forgot the MPG. However, you may be interested in the passenger volume, which is 105 cubic feet, or the rear legroom, which leaves about 6 inches of space with me sitting behind myself. You may also be curious with the cargo volume of 78 cubic feet and that there's 4-zone climate control, 5 seats with this one optioned for 4, and 21-inch wheels riding on an all-wheel drive platform. Oh, and did I mention the optional massage seats? There's also plenty of interior room and storage space and a trunk large enough to easily fit 3 or 4 suitcases. There's also a foot-operated power lift gate, which unfortunately took me a few tries to get it to work, but you can chalk that up to user error. In terms of reliability, the NHTSA did not receive a single complaint or recall for the Urus in 2019, meaning the vehicle is probably more reliable than you would think. Overall, I would rate Practicality a 10 out of 10. I mean, the fact that you have this much power and this much interior space is truly amazing. I mean, why else would you buy a Lamborghini SUV if it wasn't for the practicality? Now, when it comes to safety and security, this vehicle can be equipped with practically every safety feature on the market, as you can probably tell by this giant camera and sensor sticking out of the front grille. Now, in typical Lamborghini, and German for that matter, fashion, there is a laundry list of different options for this vehicle. Some of those include various standard and optional safety features such as adaptive cruise control with stop and go technology, blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert, self park assist, front and rear park sensors, forward collision warning, head up display, 360-degree camera, and lane departure warning, among others. This car has not been tested by the NHTSA nor the IIHS, but it comes with 6 airbags, and given it's based on a newer VW platform, I expect it would rate well in a car accident. Now, I would rate safety and security a 9 out of 10. Although you can get practically every safety feature on the market in this vehicle, you're going to have to pay a pretty hefty premium for those options. Now, I know that's standard across the industry, especially for German or Italian cars, but when you're looking for a vehicle that's over $200,000, you would hope that some of those safety features, if not all, would be included in the base MSRP. Another feature that brings the score down just a little bit is the lack of self-driving technology that you may find in some Cadillacs with their Super Cruise or Tesla's Autopilot. Now let's talk about the interior and exterior features and quality. To kick it off with the exterior, well, there's no mistaking that this is not a Lamborghini through and through. It's truly amazing that Lamborghini was able to preserve its design cues in a much taller profile. The front end is very aggressive. With its sharp corners and Lambo-styled headlights, you can tell that this car holds plenty of power under the hood. You have functional air vents throughout the front end, but unfortunately they are mixed with some fake ones as well. Moving over to the side of the vehicle, I know there are some people who do not like the look, but I absolutely love it. I think they did a great job adding aggression and movement to the oftentimes boring side profile of many SUVs. The thing looks like it's moving even when it is standing. There are sharp angles and wide fenders that give this car a very unique stance. Moving over to the back, I love what they did with the rear taillights and the sloped roofline. It makes it look more like a coupe SUV, but it actually works in this scenario. The car looks like it's 30 feet wide from the back, and it's amazing how they made every inch of this car look so fast and aggressive. You can also get this car option with larger wheels if you wish, and in 2020 you can also purchase the Pearl Capsule option, which adds additional colors that are mated with paint matching wheels. Now, to nobody's surprise, I would rate the exterior a 10 out of 10. I wish I could give it more points because I absolutely love what Lamborghini did with the style of this vehicle. I mean, it looks like a concept car mixed with the Batmobile, mixed with every other Lamborghini model out there. But at the same time, it has its own distinctive style and shape. There's no confusing this vehicle for anything else. I mean, just look at it. There's not a single boring angle on this vehicle. And in my opinion, this is arguably the coolest SUV ever made. Now let's hop inside and talk about the interior. The interior is just as amazing as the exterior. Starting off with the door, you have nice leather upholstery throughout the entire surface. Moving over, there is a flat bottom racing steering wheel with the Italian flag at the bottom, and it's finished off with the iconic Lamborghini emblem in the middle. Yes, it's borrowed from Audi, but regardless, it looks good. Let's talk about the seats. They are gorgeous and beautifully stitched throughout. They are also extremely comfortable and perfect for daily driving. Moving over to the instrument cluster, you have Lamborghini's full digital display, which is absolutely amazing. It is a 12.3-inch, very high-quality display that changes depending on your drive modes. Moving over to the center display, in typical Audi fashion, there are two high-definition screens. They are very intuitive and easy to use, which is just another benefit of sharing the same ownership as Audi. It's obvious that the software has been well developed, seeing as how there is no lag or glitches in my experience. The bottom screen controls most of the climate and is just as intuitive and glitch-free as the top screen. Now moving over to the joystick type control in the center of the car, this thing controls your drive modes, gear selector, and custom settings, as well as your start-stop features. To be honest, this section alone is my most favorite part of the interior, and it just screams Lamborghini. In order to change the drive modes, you pull down on this airplane-like selector with a very satisfying click. The start-stop requires you to lift this jet plane-like switch in order to awaken all 641 ponies. It's truly amazing how they made something so simple look so stunning. The rest of the passenger side is also finished with nice aluminum, leather, and piano black plastic. Moving over to the back seats, the refinement continues. You have beautifully upholstered seats, rear climate control with digital display, and a moonroof to enjoy the stars while camping in your Lambo. They did not cheapen out on the rear seats, but then again, it's probably a good thing they didn't at this price point. I should note that the interior and exterior come with a huge variety of different options, varying from night vision, an air quality control system, heated steering wheel and rear seats, a heat reflective windshield, heated windshield, acoustic and heat insulated glass, head-up display, custom interior and exterior, among a plethora of other options. So you can be sure to spec your Lamborghini however you want. Well, as long as you're willing to pay a price for it. Now, my rating for the interior is a 9 out of 10. The only thing really notching it down 1 point is the use of some piano black plastic on the inside of the cabin. Now, that's fine for a sub $100,000 Audi, but when you're paying this type of price, I would expect a little bit of a higher quality of material, perhaps a carbon fiber or something else. Aside from that, the interior of this car is truly outstanding. All right, so now for the part that I have been waiting for since I was about 3 years old, getting into a Lamborghini and driving it. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I first want to sincerely apologize for the gray and black bars that you are going to see on the screen. Unfortunately, you don't find out about camera malfunctioning until you get home and look at the footage. Wow, that is insane. Yeah, it's similar to that Alpina where once it hits off, you're in a rocket ship.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Like initially, you're not thrown back. I mean, it's still insane. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in normal mode, this is...
Oh, you can't even hear it.
Yeah, it's just a regular car.
Wow.
I'm sure it's still fast. You know.
Yeah, right. But wow.
Yeah.
This is Lamborghini's first turbocharged engine. To be exact, it is a twin turbocharged 4.0 liter V8 that produces 641 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. It has a top speed of 190 miles per hour and does 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. It can do the quarter mile in 11.3 seconds at 121 miles per hour. The power is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission and is delivered through all 4 wheels. It also comes with a plethora of performance features and options that include a locking center differential, which can send up to 70% of the torque to the front or up to 87% to the rear, torque vectoring capabilities, active roll stability control, which tightens one side of the suspension to keep you flat on turns, and an adjustable air ride suspension. This particular model comes with 5 different driving modes, although you can get up to 7 in different models. They are all labeled in Italian, from Strada, which stands for street, Sport, which surprisingly stands for sport, Corsa, which stands for race, and Nev, which stands for snow. And there's also an Ego mode, which is your custom drive mode settings. Feel the turn at all.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it's gorgeous inside and out too. That's what's also like the added. There's no sacrifice here except price.
Yeah,
obviously
right.
The big one. Oh man, the way it just gets to speed is insane. Overall, the performance and handling is a 10 out of 10. The fact that they were able to make this car this quick and handle this well is truly amazing. This type of performance is hard to manage in a sports car, let alone a car that weighs 5,000 pounds. Calling this an SUV is actually a mistake because it handles better than any other SUV on the market. This handles on par with any other sports car that you can buy. They truly defied physics in this vehicle. Alright, so now let's talk about some of the fun and hidden features that not everybody will know about this car. Alright, to kick it off, one interesting fact is that this vehicle comes with rear wheel steering, which means that the rear wheels can move up to 3 degrees to help you in tight corners or keep you planted at high speeds. Another cool fact, the 10-piston carbon ceramic brakes up front are the biggest put into any production vehicle at 17.3 inches, so you can be sure there's plenty of stopping power in this vehicle. Also to note, this is the quickest SUV the Car and Driver has tested at the Virginia International Raceway, so those big brakes may come in handy. Another favorite feature of mine is that the windows are frameless all around, which is common among coupes but not very usual for an SUV. Additionally, as noted earlier, there are different driving modes that change the instrument cluster depending on what setting you're in. Corsa is definitely my favorite. The driving modes also change the ride height, so if you put it in Corsa mode, the car lowers several inches, and you can definitely tell when you're sitting outside the car. I know I discussed this before, but the 360-degree camera actually shows you the car as if a drone is flying around it. If you look closely, you can see there is my tripod in the rear quarter panel of the vehicle. Another fun fact for rev battles is if you click both paddles at the same time, you put the car into neutral so you can rev your engine at a stoplight. I'm not going to lie that I didn't play with that feature. And in typical Lamborghini fashion, to put the car into drive, you click the right paddle shifter. Another thing that has been mentioned by previous car reviewers, there is a large use of Ys and hexagons throughout the entire vehicle from the interior to the exterior. It's just those little nice touches that make this car different from everything else. Another cool thing to note is that the gas cap is actually made of carbon fiber. Nobody else but the driver is going to see this, but still a very nice touch. Moving into the back seats, this car is equipped with the 4-seat option, which means the rear seats are just like the front. They move up, down, forwards, and backwards, and I rarely ever see this in the rear seats of an SUV. Staying in the back, you'll notice that since this car is equipped with the 4-seat option, there is a ski pass-through in the middle. Moving into the trunk, you'll notice there are 2 buttons on the left-hand side which raise and lower the car, making it easier to load cargo into the trunk. Now, another feature that's common amongst Audis is the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which rises out of the dashboard when you turn the vehicle on. Now, I know that there are plenty of other fun and hidden facts about this car that I haven't mentioned in today's video, but I guess you'll just have to own one to figure them all out. So what are my overall thoughts on the Urus? Well, it is a sad reality we live in where SUVs are the answer to keep the Huracans and Aventadors on the road. Unfortunately, auto manufacturers are businesses, and businesses need to make money to continue making cars. That being said, if an SUV like this is the reason that our grandchildren have posters of Lamborghinis on their walls, then so be it. Regardless of whether this car shares some parts with its Audi cousin, that doesn't really matter. In fact, I see that as a positive. Seeing as how Germans tend to over-engineer a lot of their vehicles, if that means that this Lamborghini is slightly more reliable than its predecessors, then I only see that as an advantage. In addition, due to the relationship between Audi and Lamborghini, you're able to get some additional creature comforts that you wouldn't normally get in a Lamborghini. So my verdict, if you're going to build an SUV, this is the way to do it.